Hi everyone, my name is Nucleo Patra. My boy name is Lamarr Townsend. This is actually my second YouTube channel where I do reviews, vlogs, lifestyle content, cooking videos. So if you would like to subscribe to my main channel where I do tarot readings, psychic readings, I'm actually a psychic, an energy channeler, a tarot reader, and an astrologer. So if you'd be interested in any of those things, make sure you definitely check out my second YouTube channel, or my main YouTube channel, Lamarr Townsend Tarot. Alright, where I go live a lot. Of course, subscribe to this channel here, which you're watching right now, Lamarr Does Live. And if you would like a reading or anything like that, a psychic reading, astrology, natal chart, birth chart reading, tarot reading, candles, or anything like that, check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Go right to the store section. This is where you would go to view all the rates, services, products, and things that I do offer. And I do offer quite a lot. So along with me being an artist, a drag queen, and many other things, a musician, I am also a tarot reader, an astrologer, a psychic, and an energy channeler. I'm a jack of all trades and master of all. Alright, so we are here to review episode 3 of RuPaul's Canada's Drag Race. Alright, this was a really good episode. Let's go ahead and get right into it and talk about it. So the episode starts and we get a recap of last week. So last week, Kimmy Couture won the Maxi challenge, and Jada Shada Hudson sent Miss Moço home. A couple notes before we get into the mini challenge for this episode, episode 3. During the beginning of the episode, the girls are talking to each other, and they're talking about, last week and how apparently apparently Jada Shada Hudson and Miss Moço are from Toronto, specifically in Canada. And the girls were talking about how lots of the girls from this season are from Toronto, including also Halal and Miss Moço, who, were sent home last week, or, Halal 2 weeks ago, Miss Moço last week. So I found that interesting. A lot of the girls are from Toronto. In this episode, once again at the beginning of the episode, Vivian Vanderpuss says that she's been safe so far the competition and she needs to ramp it up. I completely agree with Vivian. Like I said at the very beginning, of the episode, when Vivian walked into the room, she was one of my favorites, and I could see something in her, but I haven't seen that kind of spark since then. So I was happy she said that, because I was like, yes, Vivian, you need to ramp it up, honey, because you can't have me looking out here crazy, saying you're one of my favorites, and you're not, doing so hot this competition. So I was glad to hear that from Vivian. A couple other things. Kaos starts the episode nervous. Kaos is nervous because, I don't know, she, as the competition goes on, she gets more nervous, and, she deals with anxiety and all these different types of things she's getting in her head. So I was like, oh God, Kaos. Let's not get too much in your head, sis. So then suddenly RuPaul appears. And, RuPaul, every time RuPaul appears on the screen, she always has some sort of, riddle, and the girls are, confused as to what the riddle means until the judge comes out and explains what she means. So then, Brooke Lynn Hytes appears, who is the, the judge of the season 3, and explains what the mini challenge is this week. So the mini challenge this week is for the girls to get into 20-minute Daddy Goes on a Date quick drag. So basically, they are meant to get into drag as men or masculine men. And they're meant to be taking Brooke Lynn Hytes, who is once again the host of Canada's Drag Race, on a fake date. In every episode they have some sort of mini challenge where, they're doing something crazy. So this week, they're taking Brooke Lynn on a date. Alright. So, like I said, like I did last week, I'm not going to go through all the girls for time constraints, but we will go through the ones that stood out to me the most. The first one we're going to bring up is Gisèle Lullaby. Oops, wrong thing, sorry. And what's funny is I didn't recognize Gisèle at first. Gisèle was the first one that came out, and I did not recognize her. What gave her away was her accent. Gisèle Lullaby has a very thick French-Canadian accent, or French accent. And her accent gave her away. So I was like, wow, she really, Gisèle has this kind of drag where, she kind of transforms and morphs. And there's times on the runway, or where she'll come out and they'll be like, "Who is that? Like, like which one of the girls is that?" So I really liked Giselle's transformation, and she was pretty funny. Now the thing with Giselle's humor that I do notice though is that sometimes it does seem like there's like a language barrier or like a culture barrier, even though I know French is, French culture is a big thing in Canada. But I don't know, like there's something where sometimes it doesn't click with Giselle, and I noticed that in this kind of mini challenge. But either way, I did love Giselle in this episode. Like I told you all last week, Giselle is growing on me. So, after Giselle, we had Kaos, who is also one of my favorites. Not necessarily for their looks, but for their personality. And, this is exactly the reason why I love Kaos in this mini challenge. Kaos was so funny. Kaos was absolutely hilarious. And I think Kaos is really cute and, like, out of drag. And it was really nice to see Kaos in, like, kind of like a comedy kind of setting. Not taking himself or themselves so seriously all the time. So, I really do love Kaos. I love Kaos's personality. I've said that since episode 1. But sometimes Kaos's looks, this look I don't have too much of a comment on. Once again, they're in, like, kind of like daddy drag or boy drag. So it is what it is. But I did like Kaos's date with Brooke Lynn. I thought it was very funny. So after Kaos's, speaking of someone growing on me, after Kaos is Irma Gerd. Irma had once again a funny situation where, like, it says dildo on her hat, and Brooke Lynn, who is right here in the picture as you can see looking at Irma, I think Brooke Lynn in this moment had asked Irma, like, where are you from? And Irma spun her hat around and was like, I'm from Dildo, Newfoundland, I think she said, or something like that. And, like, I don't know, I like the banter between Brooke Lynn and Irma. Like, I don't know what it was about this episode, but Irma really came out of her shell this episode, and I really kind of fell in love with Irma this episode. The first 2 episodes, I have to say, like, Irma was not at the top of my list, like, as my favorites. But this was definitely Irma's episode, so I really did like Irma in the mini challenge. I thought she was really funny. After Irma is Lady Boom Boom. Now, y'all know I live for Lady Boom Boom and her delusions. This mini challenge for Lady Boom Boom was a little awkward. Once again, it's kind of the same vibe as, like, Giselle. As in, Lady Boom Boom, I think, is French or something like that. And, I noticed with the girls, who have, like, French thick accents and speak fluent French, there's, like, a language or culture barrier when it comes to their jokes and being able to interact in certain ways. So, once again, I'm not sure if, like, if English is not their first language, for example, which is totally fine. There's no issue with that. But it sometimes translates as, like, doesn't translate well in terms of, like, telling jokes or, like, these mini challenges all the time. So I noticed that sometimes in these mini challenges and sometimes the maxi challenges, Lady Boom Boom and Gisèle Lullaby can be kind of hit or miss. And in this case, Giselle was a hit, Lady Boom Boom was a miss, unfortunately. So I did not like Lady Boom Boom's date with Brooke Lynn. It was just a little awkward. After Lady Boom Boom is Jada Shada Hudson. And now, speaking of Daddy Child, Jada was giving daddy realness. And I'm not talking the daddy, at the club on Grindr or anything like that, honey, or on Tinder. Alright? I'm talking about the daddy that you grew up with, that grounded you, that, kind of, maybe, spanked you or something like that, and not in that kind of way. I'm talking about that daddy, the daddy that birthed you or had a hand in birthing you. She was giving that kind of daddy in this mini challenge. And to be honest with you, I loved it. I thought Jada Shada Hudson was funny, and I liked the versatility of Jada being able once again to be able to go from kind of like female, kind of like, that kind of drag into quick male masculine drag. I lived for this from Jada Shada Hudson, and she was really funny too. Like, she gave daddy realness. Like, it was really like I got the sense that it was like, this was like, I don't know, like, she committed to the character, I feel like. And I really did like Jada in this mini challenge. So after Jada Shada Hudson is Vivian Vanderpuss. Now, y'all know I love Vivian Vanderpuss, but Vivian is one of those, girls so far who has not really shined. I said at the very beginning, you know, the video, she's not shined like I know she can. However, in this mini challenge, she shined bright like a diamond, honey. Vivian Vanderpuss was so funny. She made Brooke Lynn crack up. Brooke Lynn was cracking up, like, just hilarious. Like, you know, what I liked about Vivian is that she was very committed to the character. I like that when they commit to the character. When you commit to the character, and it doesn't matter if you look foolish or crazy. That's like kind of the fun of it. I like that. I like that Vivian, and she, you know, even her walk was kind of like, you know, unique. So I really did like Vivian in this mini challenge a lot. Speaking of Vivian, Vivian is actually the person that ends up winning this mini challenge, which takes us into what is the setup for the Maxi challenge this week. So Vivian ends up winning the mini challenge. Alright. And here the girls, all the girls are together. Alright, I'll enlarge, oh wait, that's the wrong picture, sorry. Alright. Here are all the girls together. Right after we find out Vivian wins, we find out what the mini challenge is. Or we find out what the Maxi challenge is, I'm sorry. The Maxi challenge for this week is a lip sync for your life in pairs. Ooh, child. So you know I was like, oh my god. And they also have to choreograph their own performance to a RuPaul song. So you know, a RuPaul song, that added extra layer of it has to be a RuPaul song, brings even more anxiety and fear, because y'all know RuPaul songs can be very tricky in terms of performing them and getting a vibe from them and stuff like that. So because Vivian is the winner, Vivian gets to pick which groups get the specific songs, which ended up actually causing some drama, which we'll get into here in a second. So the girls, I think, got to pick their own groups in terms of who they ended up working with. So the groups ended up being Vivian Vanderpuss and Gisèle Lullaby, which I like them together. I don't think we've seen them work together yet. Kaos and Chelazon Leroux are together. Miss Fiercalicious and Bombae are together. Jada Shada Hudson and Irma Gerd are together, which at first I was like, ooh, gosh, but they, you know, we'll get into them in a second. And then lastly was Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom, alright? And the songs that Vivian Vanderpuss assigned to everyone in terms of the RuPaul songs, because they all have to perform a RuPaul song. Not the same song, but a RuPaul song nonetheless. So, Vivian Vanderpuss and Giselle gave themselves three Hands Up by RuPaul. Vivian gave Kaos and Chelazon Leroux the song Adrenaline, which I actually like that song, Adrenaline. I think Naomi Smalls performed that with, I think, was it Gia Gunn? It was a really good performance. I do like that song, Adrenaline. Vivian gave Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom Feel Like... Hold on. I can't even read what I wrote. It says Feel Like Dancing, I think is what I wrote. Feel Like Dancing. So Vivian Vanderpuss gave Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom the RuPaul song Feel Like Dancing. Some of these songs I've never heard from RuPaul, by the way. And then Vivian gave Jada Shada Hudson and Irma Gerd Peanut Butter by RuPaul, which is a song I love. And a lot of people probably have heard Peanut Butter. Peanut butter, peanut. I love that song. So they got that song. And then lastly, Vivian gave Miss Fiercalicious and Bombae Let the Music Play. They were not happy about this. Miss Fiercalicious and Bombae, they were really not happy about the fact that they got this song, honey. They were really hot, especially Miss Fiercalicious. She was not happy at all about the fact that she got this song. So they were giving Miss Vivian Vanderpuss fever pretty much for the rest of the episode, once again due to the fact that they were just really not happy with the song choice that they were given. To be honest, I wasn't so happy with their attitudes. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, you didn't get the song you wanted, but you still kind of have to make the best of it. It's like, turn it out and, make it into your own concoction, and just turn it out. It's like, it's better to always look at a solution rather than the problem. So I didn't like to see Bombae and Miss Fiercalicious especially be so upset about this, because I think it ended up costing them in the long run, which we'll get into in a second. So anyways, these are the songs that the girls have to perform to. A couple notes before we get into the Maxi challenge. Irma says she's stiff, and Jada Shada Hudson is very supportive of Irma. So I like that because, once again, we'll go back to all the girls kind of sitting together. I like that because Jada Shada Hudson and Irma Gerd are two very unlikely pairs. Their drag aesthetics, their, personalities in general initially don't seem to mesh that well, or you wouldn't expect them to be partners or anything like that. But I like that Jada, goes into Irma being supportive and kind of giving off the energy of, we'll get through this, we got this, girl. So I really like that supportiveness from Jada towards Irma Gerd. Bombae and Miss Fierce, are salty pretty much for the rest of the episode, like I was saying earlier. Alright, about the fact that they didn't get their song choice. And the thing with their main issue was that I think the song that they got, once again, Let the Music Play, is the only ballad. So it's kind of the only slow song. Every other song is kind of upbeat. And, it's kind of, it's easier, to perform a song and slay, maybe to a more upbeat song, maybe unless you're a good lip syncer, then you can perform any song, and be fine. So I was kind of even if I didn't feel comfortable, if I were in the competition, if I were in their place, even if I didn't feel comfortable lip syncing to Let the Music Play, I would at least give off the energy that I'm fine with it, I'm gonna deal with it, and it is what it is, right? So as to show that okay, I didn't get the song I wanted, but that doesn't mean I can't slay a lip sync. You never want to show the competition your weakness. So I was just like, y'all really need to get over this saltiness about the fact that you didn't get the song you wanted. I just didn't really like that. They were so upset the whole episode. Anyways, last week we were talking about Kaos and how Kaos mentioned during their confessional that they were indigenous but didn't feel comfortable talking to the girls about their indigenous identification. And I was saying how I thought that was really sad and I didn't like to hear that from Kaos. Well, this comes up again this week in episode 3. Kaos mentions to Chelazon, their partner, their lip sync partner, that he's indigenous, and Chelazon is very supportive of Kaos because Chelazon is also indigenous. Excuse me, this is also a very big part of Chelazon's drag aesthetic. Kaos also mentions that she grew up doing indigenous types things, doing powwows and different types of rituals and ceremonies. So I found that really interesting. I like that Kaos was able to get that out of them and not keep that so bottled up. And I like that Chelazon and Kaos shared that moment together. So, the last note that I have, in this portion is that Miss Fiercalicious just can't get over her anger. So once again, Miss Fiercalicious is making Vivian like an enemy. Vivian is not bothered by Miss Fiercalicious one bit. But Miss Fiercalicious is having it out for Vivian, and it's just kind of girl, you need to get over it. Vivian made her choice, and it is what it is. You getting mad is you wasting time. That's how I saw it. So I was like, Miss Fiercalicious, girl, she was really getting on my nerves this episode, I'm not gonna lie. So that happens. And then the special guest comes out this week, Miss Vanjie. Yes, Miss Vanjie came out as the guest judge for this week's episode, or one of the guest judges for this week's episode. And I really did love seeing Miss Vanjie. It was really nice seeing Miss Vanjie. It was really cool once again seeing Miss Vanjie. I'm trying to enlarge the picture. Damn, why won't the picture enlarge? Hold on. There we go. I think I got it. Okay. It was really cool to see Miss Vanjie. One of the reasons why it was so cool to see Miss Vanjie is because Brooke Lynn Hytes, once again, who was the one in the blue here, Brooke Lynn Hytes and Miss Vanjie were actually season 11 sisters of RuPaul's Drag Race. They both competed in season 11 of America's RuPaul's Drag Race, which actually is, you know, one of my favorite seasons because it's actually the season where I got back into RuPaul's Drag Race. That was right before the pandemic, and I remember going out to, you know, bars here in DC and doing, you know, watching viewing parties for that season. So I really have a, you know, that season holds a special place in my heart. I think that's why I love Brooke Lynn so much. Oh, well, one of the reasons. She also just slays in general, right? But it was really cool to see Vanessa Vanjie Mateo. And she's the guest judge. So the girls start planning their choreography in front of Miss Vanjie and Brooke Lynn Hytes. Once again, Kaos is in her head. Alright. Kimmy Couture is kind of slaying the choreography. You know, this is just kind of practice what they're doing right now. But Kimmy Couture is slaying her choreography. I didn't know Kimmy Couture could dance so well. I think this might be my first time seeing Kimmy Couture lip sync, you know, so I was kind of shook by Kimmy. Once again, Bombae and Miss Fierce are still salty, Miss Fiercalicious. And Vanjie instigates them, of course, you know, and like, you know, ask them questions, you know, and, you know, of course we find out that, you know, it's not the song they wanted, and, you know, Vivian, you know, gave them the song, and Miss Fiercalicious thinks that Vivian tried to sabotage them. In my opinion, I don't think that's how Vivian was playing the game. I think Miss Fiercalicious may just be, like, intimidated by Miss Vivian, or may see Miss Vivian as a threat, or Vivian Vanderpuss as a threat, or something like that. So I was like, girl, Vivian is not bothered by you, so you might as well give that up, alright? And Fierce just can't get over her anger, so that is what that is. And then Irma Gerd starts twerking. She kind of slayed. I was kind of shocked by Irma Gerd. I was like, oh, okay, Irma, I didn't know you had all that in you. And then lastly, Vivian and Giselle, theirs was kind of boring. Their choreography, you know, practice was kind of boring, so I was kind of nervous for Vivian and Giselle, to be honest with you. Because, you know, I love Vivian, and I'm really starting to like Giselle, so I was like, oh gosh, you know, I didn't know what to expect with these two, but let's get into the Maxi Challenge for everybody. Let's see what these girls did with this Maxi Challenge. So right before the Maxi Challenge, Miss Fiercalicious finally apologizes to Vivian Vanderpuss, which I was so glad because she was getting on my nerves all episode, to be honest. And y'all know I like Vivian, so I did not like that Miss Fiercalicious was kind of bullying Vivian this whole episode. But I did like that Vivian was so unbothered. I don't think Vivian was really bothered by Miss Fiercalicious. Anyways, Giselle ends up reading Miss Fiercalicious for bullying Vivian. So I did like that Giselle ended up sticking up for Vivian, her partner. I like that. Okay, so Brooke Lynn, by the way, let me see if I can, because I had a picture of Brooke Lynn. Let me see if I can put a picture of Brooke Lynn up. So Brooke Lynn looks absolutely stunning this episode. She completely slayed this episode. She looks so good, and I love when Brooke Lynn does a short blonde wig. I think she looks so good when she does a short blonde wig. I love it. So Brooke Lynn looks amazing, and then we get into the lip syncs. So first up is Chelazon and Kaos. Alright. I don't remember. I think they lip sync to. Let me go back to my notes. Adrenaline by RuPaul. Once again, they're all lip syncing to RuPaul songs. Kaos slayed, to be honest. At the beginning, Kaos was really carrying them. Chelazon came more alive towards the end, but in the beginning, Kaos was kind of giving passion and soul, and she kind of carried that throughout the performance. But Chelazon, I didn't really get passion or soul throughout the performance at all. She kind of pepped it up a little bit towards the end, but I just was not a fan of this lip sync. I did like, there's something about Kaos where she has like a little bit of rhythm to her, so I like when Kaos like feels it. But she wasn't feeling it throughout. They kind of looked like they were both in their head. So I was like, not my favorite, but they didn't do horrible, right? So after Kaos and Chelazon are Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom. Once again, I think these two did really, really well. Kimmy really slayed though. Kimmy Couture really slayed. You can see Lady Boom Boom really struggled a little bit compared to Kimmy. I don't know if Lady Boom Boom is not necessarily like a dancer or something like that, but Kimmy Couture definitely carried these two. Kimmy Couture definitely carried Lady Boom Boom and her on her back. So I think they both did good, but Kimmy kind of did outshine Lady Boom Boom, to be honest with you. After Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom, by the way, they performed once again to Feel Like Dancing by RuPaul. After Kimmy Couture and Lady Boom Boom are Bombae and Miss Fiercalicious. And they're performing once again Let's Let the Music Play, which were not happy to get. I thought they were actually surprisingly good. At one point they actually had a reveal, which I'll show you right now. So they initially started out in these like long tunic looking dresses. Mind you, once again, the song that they performed was like a ballad, more so than like a jam or anything like that, right? And then they reveal into, they reveal into leotards, which I thought was cool. They kind of did like a comedy bit, which I liked, but this wasn't necessarily my favorite performance, but they did good considering the circumstances, aka them not being happy with their song choice, right? So it's like, oh, okay, they did good. Was kind of nervous for them, but they ended up doing really good. By the way, Bombae is also kind of like warming. I'm warming up to Bombae too. I noticed in this episode, which we'll get into here in a second. The runway, child. We'll get into the runway in a second. Next is Irma Gerd and Jada Shada Hudson. Hold on. Once again, they performed Peanut Butter, which I think is a very popular RuPaul song. They slayed. Irma slayed. I was really surprised. Big Frida is on that song. There's like a rap part with Big Frida. And Irma actually did the rap part, which I was really surprised. She knew all the words. She was slaying it. So I was really surprised by these two. I was like, these two slayed it. They did comedy. They did dancing. They did twerking. Irma really surprised me this episode. I really was shocked by Irma this episode. And I'm like slowly starting to love Irma Gerd. Alright, so I was like, oh, I love these two. I think these two might have actually been my favorite, to be honest with you, in terms of this Maxi challenge. Jada and Irma were my favorite. Lastly was Lady Boom Boom, lastly was Gisèle Lullaby and Vivian Vanderpuss. And they did the song by RuPaul, Three Hands Up. I thought they were good. They were giving a little jazz musical with the jazz hands and the this and the that kind of thing, and they were doing a lot of that, which I was like, okay, it's cute, and it's very much in their wheelhouse, at least Vivian's wheelhouse. Vivian does give very musical, kind of, Broadway, kind of vibes. So it was giving very much that, there was a little bit of disco in there too, kind of thing too. So I thought they were cute. Not my favorite, but I thought they were cute. Definitely would have to say, in terms of the Maxi challenge, for me personally, Irma Gerd and Jada Shada Hudson were definitely my favorite. So after the Maxi challenge, we get straight into the runway. Bring it to the runway. 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 Bring it to the runway. Okay, so the category for this week is sleeves. Ooh. Let's see what the girls brought to the runway this week. So let's get into it. Once again, the category is sleeves. The first one up is Miss Jada Shada Hudson. I thought Miss Jada looked good. I loved her hair. I loved her makeup. I thought she looked really good. I loved the white and the gold. I thought it looked great against her skin. I thought she looked good, and I love Jada Shada Hudson's confidence. Even though she's a big girl, she's not afraid to show off that body, honey. So I live for Jada Shada Hudson's look in this this runway. After Jada Shada Hudson was her partner this week, Irma Gerd. Alright. Irma, I liked it. The sleeves gave like a jellyfish kind of vibe, which I think was her intention. Um, despite Irma's looks, her looks are not always my favorite, but Irma really won me over this episode. Just from her humor, her like commitment to like just her character and being goofy and funny, and there's definitely something likable about Irma. Not necessarily my favorite look on the runway, but I did like this might be my favorite look from Irma so far in the season, to be honest with you. So not a bad look, not my favorite, but might be the best she's looked so far, to be honest. This was really a highlight episode for Irma. So after Irma Gerd was Miss Fiercalicious. And when Miss Fiercalicious came out, initially she came out in this like kind of like big, like it looked like a ball or something like that with the Canadian colors, and then like she kind of tore that off and revealed to like looking like a clown almost. And then she started pulling stuff out of her sleeve. So it was interesting. It was definitely a different take for Miss Fiercalicious, because I think we're so used to seeing Miss Fiercalicious look fierce and be fierce and look pretty all the time. So it was really cool, I think, to see her look goofy. She had a little pasties on her, her nipples and stuff like that. So I like to see this from Miss Fiercalicious, just because it was so different. And I like the concept. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, what's going on here? But then she started pulling stuff out of her sleeve, so it's like, kind of like the idiom, like, what's up your sleeve kind of thing. So I was like, oh, I like that concept. So I like this from Miss Fiercalicious. Now, child, if I had to say which is probably my favorite on the runway, this one was probably my favorite. Up next after Miss Fiercalicious, we have Bombae. Bombae looked so good on the runway this episode. I was living for Bombae. She's absolutely slayed. Once again, she was my favorite on the runway this week. Now the thing with Bombae was when she came out, I was like, where's the sleeve though? It turns out her hair actually like kind of coils into her sleeve on her arm. So I was like, oh, that is so cool. Like, I loved the concept. I loved, like, it was very anime and, like, I don't know. It was just very, like, out of the box. Like, I wouldn't think your hair to be your sleeve. And, I don't know. I thought that was really cool. So, this was my favorite look of the night, from all the girls. However, after Bombae, we have Chelazon Leroux. Now, Chelazon Leroux is wearing ribbons. I think that is, once again, tied to her indigenous culture. It wasn't my favorite look, but I do like that Chelazon Leroux sticks to her identity. I think, actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if this was her indigenous culture or if this was relating to her two-spirit identity. Either way, it was relating to her identity overall, which I did like that. I like that, Chelazon Leroux really is like, she puts her identity and her indigenous, culture and things like that in the forefront. I didn't like the execution. It was not my favorite look. All right. So I didn't like this from Chelazon. After Chelazon is Kaos. Now, when Kaos first came out, I was like, I think she ripped her sleeves off or something like that, and I was just not understanding what was going on here, as usual with Kaos. But then Kaos ended up revealing into a different outfit, which I thought was kind of cool. She revealed into this outfit, but I was kind of like, well, I wish she had come out in this outfit anyway. But to be honest with you, I'm not sure I like the reveal either. I'm not sure I like the outfit she came out in. I'm not sure I like this reveal. I'm not sure how it relates to sleeves, although I guess the sleeves here are very luxurious. But I don't know. I will say that I did love this color, so I did love this color on Kaos. So I do hope to see maybe more of this color on Kaos. Not my favorite outfit on Kaos, though, alright? So that's Kaos's look. After Kaos was Vivian Vanderpuss, who did very well this episode. Vivian had, like, tiny hands at the bottom of her dress. You can see them right there. And then her actual hands were, like, tiny hands. Like the hands from Scary Movie 2, the guy from Scary Movie 2. I like I thought it was very conceptual. I like the concept. The execution was kind of meh. Um, she's padded for the gods. Her body looks great, but I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of this look from Vivian Vanderpuss on the runway this week. I like the concept, not so much the execution. Once again, all right. But once again, it's not a bad look. I don't really have anything bad to say about this. Other than what I just said, right? After Vivian is Gisèle Lullaby. I like this from Gisèle Lullaby. I think she looks great in pink. I didn't really fully get the concept once again. I'm going to have to go look back at the episode. But I liked it for the look. I thought it was a really good look. And I like Gisèle Lullaby's creativity mixed with her humor. Her sense of humor. And she kind of gave that on the runway this week. So, I didn't have a bad thing to say. I liked it next to her name. So, after Gisèle Lullaby is Kimmy Couture. And next to Kimmy Couture's name, I put yes. Alright, I love this look on Kimmy Couture. She was giving sleeves down. I think this was relating to her Asian culture, I believe. So I really like this from Kimmy Couture. Alright, probably one of my top favorites on the runway this week. But once again, my top number one favorite is still Bombae. Alright, she might have been number 2 this week, though. Alright. Lastly, after Kimmy Couture, we have Lady Boom Boom. So this was Lady Boom Boom's look. It's basically like a jacket, like a hoodie with long sleeves, very, very long sleeves. I like Lady Boom Boom's makeup. I like the concept, but it was kind of meh. Once again, this happens with Lady Boom Boom, where she hits it right on the nail, but it's boring. It's a little bit basic. It's a little bit lazy. It's maybe okay, I like the concept, but maybe we could have done more with the legs or something like that. Maybe we could have used rhinestones or done something a little bit more draggy or something like that there. But I don't know. Lady Boom Boom looked great. Once again, not my favorite on the runway this week. And that's that with Lady Boom Boom. So the winner of, we find out the Maxi challenge ends up being for this week, Jada Shada Hudson. All right, which I would agree with. Jada Shada Hudson winning the Maxi challenge. I think the only other ones I probably could have seen winning would definitely be Irma Gerd. I could have seen winning the Maxi challenge this week. And maybe Kimmy Couture were probably the only ones I could see winning the Maxi challenge. So I was like, okay, I can agree with Jada winning. And y'all know I love Jada anyway, so it's alright, I agree with that, based on the other competition and things like that. So, we get to the bottoms and the tops this week, and we find out that on the bottom, or in the bottom this week is Miss Fiercalicious, Bombae, Kaos, and Chelazon Leroux. So when they said the top, the bottoms, I didn't know how this was going to go. I didn't know if they were going to put the girls in groups and make them lip sync together, the group that did the worst, you have to lip sync against each other and knock one out. And I didn't want that because, I didn't want Bombae and Miss Fiercalicious to lip sync against each other and knock one of them out. Because I do really like Bombae, and as much as Miss Fiercalicious gets on my nerves, I do like her too. So this one kind of had me shook. This lip sync had me really shook. So the first name that Brooke Lynn Hytes calls, who is in the bottom and has to lip sync for their life this week, is Miss Fiercalicious, child. When Brooke Lynn Hytes called Miss Fiercalicious' name, I was gooped. My jaw was on the floor literally like this. I did not expect Miss Fiercalicious to have to lip sync this week. So I was like, oh gosh, I think this might be the first time we've seen Miss Fiercalicious lip sync. But I just had a feeling no matter who she went up against, he was going to be a formidable competitor. So I was like, just please don't let it be Bombae that she has to lip sync against, and please don't let it be Kaos. No offense to Chelazon Leroux, but I don't know, I love Bombae and I do love Kaos. So I didn't want to see any of these girls go home. But I was kind of nervous after Brooke Lynn called Fierce's name. Fiercalicious, after Fiercalicious' name is called, the next person who is in the bottom and will, be lip syncing for their life is Chelazon Leroux. So secretly, I was like, "Woo!" Like, thank you, God. And to be honest with you, I had a feeling that Chelazon was going to go home at this point, and so here, is Miss Fiercalicious and Chelazon kind of lining up, getting ready for their lip sync. And it turns out that they're lip syncing to the song Don't Call Me Baby by Keisha Turner. Apparently, this is a Canadian Jamaican singer. I actually love the song. It's my first time hearing the song. I actually really like that song. So I'm going to have to download that on my iTunes. Miss Fiercalicious slayed. Completely slayed. I could not keep my eyes off Miss Fiercalicious at all. And the thing I loved about this lip sync, this was a really good lip sync this week. I love that Miss Fiercalicious and Chelazon, neither of them pulled out stunts or tricks or dips or death drops or anything like that. It was all raw emotion. It was all entertaining the crowd. They did really good. However, Miss Fiercalicious ends up winning the lip sync. And we end up saying, unfortunately, goodbye this week to Chelazon Leroux. So Chelazon Leroux gets sent home, and that's the end of episode 3. This was such a good episode, which is good because last week was a really, really good episode. I really loved last week's episode. This was a really, really good episode. I'm excited for next week's episode. It was sad to see Chelazon Leroux go. But you could tell towards the end, she felt a little bit defeated, and she kind of knew she was, maybe going to go home. So, I kind of felt she had, felt a little bit defeated, and I don't think that helped her at all. So, one thing I'm learning about this show is if you end up in the bottom, you still have to be fierce and fight your way through whatever you're going through internally, and, keep focus, no matter how, scary it may be or whatever it may be in the moment. So I completely understood where she was, but it was just ooh, baby girl, don't let it get the best of you. And I think she let it get the best of her a little bit this week. So we say goodbye to Chelazon Leroux. We say goodbye to Chelazon Leroux. Alright, and we're down one more girl. Alright, so that's that, you guys. That is episode 3. Once again, this was a really good episode. I'm really starting to love this season so far. I have not loved this season, of Canada's Drag Race since season 1, to be honest. So, and there's nothing wrong with season 2. Season 2 is just not my favorite group of girls, per se. Although I do have my favorites. Cynthia Kiss, I love. Geometric. And Eve 6000 grew on me after the season. But anyway, that's that on that. That's episode 3 of Canada's Drag Race. I'll see you next week for episode 4. Thank you all for listening and watching. Once again, I'm Nucleo Patra. My boy name is Lamarr Townsend. Subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you next week. I'll see you in the next video. Either way, I'll see you soon. Love and light.